This page is the cover of Nintendo official magazine, and it's a vibrant celebration of Pokémon. The iconic Pikachu takes center stage, looking as cheerful as ever, promoting the Hey You Pikachu game. We also get a glimpse of Lugia on a game insert, hinting at more Pokémon goodness within. The cover boldly announces news and previews, including the best Pokémon info, and teases articles like, Talk to Pika on your N64, English language version played to death, and WF No Mercy, bone-crunching hints and tips. It's a packed cover that screams N64 era, especially with the February issue, 101 price of £2.95. A true nostalgia trip for any gamer. This page is a full-page advert for Disney's Game Boy Color titles. It showcases Jungle Book, Aladdin, Donald Duck Quack Attack, and Winnie the Pooh, Adventures in the 100-Acre Wood. A real treat for Disney fans looking for some handheld gaming fun. This page is a fantastic cover for February 2001, issue 101, boldly declaring, here's why we've always been the UK's biggest selling Nintendo 64 and Nintendo Mag. It features the Team Nintendo crew, including Tim, Barry, Sean, Rich, Alex, Tamsin, Nicola and Dave, looking rather chuffed with themselves. The page also highlights what you can expect from the magazine. Early access to Nintendo 64 and new games, loads of screenshots, easy-to-understand content, and trustworthy writers. Basically, it's the only magazine you'll ever need. Plus, a peek at the Hey You Pikachu game cover on the N64 official magazine. It's all about getting in touch, whether by post, phone or email, with contact details for various departments. It's clear they're very proud of their offering, and want to ensure you're plugged into the Nintendo universe. This page is the vibrant cover of the magazine, featuring a giant, grinning Pikachu. The headline screams, only in this Nintendo official magazine, setting a tone of exclusive content. Below that, Hey You Pikachu takes center stage, promising a deep dive into the game, with bullet points like how to talk to Pika, the Poke Helper, Pikachu Diary, and Ace Adventures. We also get a glimpse of Sin and Punishment, with a promise of a first look at the N64 blaster. Then there's the game news section, teasing a wealth of new releases like Aliens, Aiden Chronicles, Mario Party 3, Pokémon Crystal, Rugrats in Paris, Scooby-Doo, Star Wars Episode 1 Battle for Naboo, and Pokémon Stadium Gold and Silver. It's a packed issue indeed, and they're even pointing you to pages 18 and 86 for more gaming goodness, with a special shout-out for new for Game Boy Color and new for Nintendo 64 titles. This page is a veritable smorgasbord of gaming goodness. We've got a massive mag logo dominating the top, immediately grabbing your attention. Over on the left, under reviews, we're promised the lowdown on the latest releases, with a special mention of Power Rangers on page 28, taking us to Planet Nintendo for their biggest adventure yet. And look out for Tigger's Honey Hunt on page 32, sounding like a delightfully charming cartoon quest. The Game Guides section is back, promising to help you play to win every time, with Majora's Mask on page 58. Plus, we're getting tips and tricks for WWF No Mercy on page 68, and even advice on how to submit your own scores for your scores on page 54. Mega Challenge on page 56 sounds like it's going to test even the most seasoned players. Meanwhile, on the right, Blagfest is back, bigger than ever, featuring all sorts of cool stuff like Steps dolls, South Park fridge guards, and funky rucksacks. There's also a free Game Boy magazine chucked in, featuring Mr. Driller, and a puzzle challenge, a real treat for all you handheld heroes out there. It's a jam-packed issue, and I'm already itching to dive in. This page is a fantastic introduction to Hey You Pikachu for the Nintendo 64. It highlights that this is the English language version and promises a chance to talk to Pikachu. The game is described as a virtual pet, developed by Nintendo, with a release date to be confirmed. The reviewer seems quite excited, suggesting you can make Pikachu your new best friend by speaking to him. They also mention that by speaking to him you'll get guidance from Professor Oak and help solve puzzles. The screenshots show Pikachu in different poses, one looking rather grumpy and the other unleashing a powerful thunderbolt, hinting at the interactive nature of the game and its potential for exciting moments. It sounds like a truly unique experience, aiming to create a bond between the player and the iconic Pokémon. This page is a full-page advert for Hey You Pikachu on the Nintendo 64, showcasing the iconic character in a vibrant, friendly pose. It's a clear invitation to engage with Pikachu. This page dives into the exciting world of Hey You Pikachu, For the Nintendo 64, we get a good look at Professor Oak, who's apparently cooking up some new tech, a portable computer called the Poke Helper, to aid us in our Pokemon adventures. It sounds like he wants us to get out there, make friends with wild Pokemon, and test his invention. The main focus, though, is on the voice recognition unit, VRU, which is essentially a microphone accessory that plugs into your N64. The article explains how this allows you to interact directly with Pikachu using your voice, which is a pretty neat concept for the time. There are some excellent screenshots showing off the game's environments and how the voice commands work, like encouraging Pikachu to catch a tentacle or telling him to drop something. It looks like you'll be able to chat with Pikachu and get helpful tips from Professor Oak on your TV screen. It's all about building a bond with your yellow pal. This page continues the journey into Hey You Pikachu, detailing Professor Oak's test to see if you're the right person to partner with Pikachu. It highlights the use of the Poke Helper, a device that seems to be your guide through the game. We see screenshots of Pikachu in Viridian Forest, with prompts on how to get his attention and what to say. The main focus shifts to the Poke Helper itself, which apparently gives you details on items and suggests words to say to Pikachu. There's a mention of a non-Pikachu diary, which sounds like a fun way to track your progress in befriending Pikachu. It seems like you'll be interacting with Pikachu through voice commands, trying to get him to respond to certain phrases, and building a relationship with him. The reviewer seems quite keen on the idea of using your voice to interact with a Pokemon, which was pretty groundbreaking stuff back then. This page delves into the intricacies of Hey You Pikachu, focusing on the in-game interface and essential mechanics. We get a look at the on-the-screen elements, explaining the message bar for Professor Oak's tips, and the Say Your Goodbyes prompt. The speech sign appears when Pikachu wants to talk, and Pikachu icons illustrate his mood, heart, and electric power, lightning, with fuller meters being better. The Tools of the Trade section highlights the toolbox, a handy case for items, and your Poke Helper. It even warns that Pikachu might use Thundershock if he catches you hoarding delicious cakes. The bottom half of the page, titled Day 2, recounts a picnic adventure with Bulbasaur. It details how Pikachu had to collect ingredients for Bulbasaur's stew, but hilariously ended up picking the wrong ones, making Pikachu sick. It's a charming little anecdote that showcases the game's playful nature. This page is a cracking full-page advert for Gundam Wing, landing on Cartoon Network. It's all about joining the revolution with these awesome mechs. It also features the Toonwork logo and details that the show airs weekdays at 5:30 p.m., starting January 15th. This page delves into how to understand Pikachu's emotions in Pokemon. It breaks down the different speech bubbles that can appear above his head, explaining their meanings. A question mark signifies confusion or not understanding you, while a jumbled mess means he's angry or confused, suggesting you cheer him up. An exclamation mark indicates he's listening attentively and wants to hear more. A light bulb suggests he's had an idea, and a blooming flower shows he understood and is happy to comply with your requests. The page also features a section on Day 3, Springleaf Field, recounting an adventure with Pikachu in a meadow, observing him interact with Oddish. It highlights Pikachu plucking blue radishes and then being playfully made to eat Oddish leaves, which he clearly wasn't thrilled about. The review, delivered with nostalgic gamer flair, emphasizes the importance of paying attention to these visual cues to get the most out of your Pokemon encounters. It's a charming look at the early days of understanding your digital companions. This page is all about your virtual pal Pikachu. We dive into how to read his mood with It's Alive, and explore the different places you can take him in, places to visit. From the misty Olivine Lake to the familiar Viridian Edge, you can even visit Cobalt Coast and Island, and the grassy Springleaf Field. Then we jump to Day 4, babysitting Caterpies, where Pikachu's got his hands full looking after some little ones. It seems the Caterpies are quite the handful, getting hungry quickly, and not being too impressed with their food. In a rather shocking turn of events, Pikachu uses Thunderbolt, but luckily, the rosebuds he accidentally knocks down are a tasty snack for the Caterpies. Looks like our little electric friend saved the day, though he probably could have done without the surprise light show. It's a charming insight into the early days of raising your Pokemon, really showing off how interactive they were. This page is all about your favorite electric mouse Pikachu. We learn how to communicate with him using the VRU, and some key phrases to get him to use his electric attacks. It looks like you can choose from Thunderbolt, Thundershock, or Thunder depending on what you say. We see Pikachu in action in a few screenshots, including one where he's getting ready for bed, and another where he's battling a Haunter. There's also a section on how to interact with Pikachu by saying certain words, with a rather amusing challenge involving Venusaur and a blindfolded Butterfree. The second half of the page shifts to Day 5, Gone Fishing, where Pikachu's favorite pastime is revealed. It turns out he's quite the angler, and we learn that shouting "Reel it in and hang in there" can help him catch some impressive Pokemon, including Magikarp and Horsey. It's a fun look at the more laid-back side of Pokemon training. This page is all about picking up useful items with Pikachu in the game. We see Pikachu acquiring a silver harmonica from Venusaur after busting Pokeballs, and later using it to play a tune. The treasure hunt section then whisks us away to a desert island where Pikachu is digging up buried treasure. It seems you can find items by having Pikachu dig them up after you spot a chest. It's a fun little mystery to solve, and who knows, you might just unearth some valuable loot, or as they put it, some rubbish. The Day 6, It's Coming Home segment details a bit of mischief where Pikachu steals the toolbox and gives away all the food, but is forgiven and invited home for tea. We then see a couple of cute screenshots of Pikachu enjoying himself, first in a bedroom, and then having a nap on the bed, leaving us to wonder where we'll be sleeping. This page focuses on life with Pikachu in the game, showing off its domestic side and adventures in the wild. We see Pikachu tidying up your bedroom, using its charm to collect items, and even having a little nap. It highlights how Pikachu can be your helpful companion, with the game featuring other Pokemon like Charmander and Squirtle in various environments. There's also a bit of a heads up about Pikachu's mischievous nature, warning players to keep their valuables safe. Plus, a quick note confirms that a UK release for Hey You Pikachu is still up in the air. Oh, the suspense! This page is a full-page advert for the THQG Club, promoting free goodies, exclusive info, and discounts on new releases for Game Boy Color. It features gamebox art for Action Man, Search for Base X, Chicken Run, Croc 2, and Talker Touring Car Championship. This page features a look at Sin and Punishment, successor to the Earth on the N64, hyping it up with riotous blasting, ace weapons, and awesome bosses. The reviewer clearly thinks this is going to be a massive hit, calling it a rollercoaster ride of unrivaled blasting, and claiming it will make your cutesy platformers look rubbish. They're particularly excited about the hottest N64 babes, Sakia Mamiya and Arian Joe, who are apparently on a mission to save their hides. With a game info box listing it as a shoot-'em-up from Nintendo, with a TBA release, it's safe to say they're expecting big things from this one. This page showcases the striking cover art for Sin and Punishment, successor to the Earth, also known as Big Game in this publication. The artwork features the two protagonists, Sakia Mamiya and Arian Joe, rendered in a dynamic, anime-inspired style. Their sharp features and determined expressions hint at the high-octane action promised in the game. The vibrant use of color and bold linework perfectly captures the futuristic and intense atmosphere of the shooter. It's clear this game is being positioned as a must-play for N64 owners looking for some serious blasting action. This page delves into the futuristic world of Sin and Punishment, a game that, judging by the descriptions, is a rather stylish shoot-'em-up. We're introduced to the Down in Tokyo scenario, where a dystopian future with food scarcity has led to the rise of ruffians, forcing a band of vixens to take matters into their own hands. The screenshots show the chaos, with one depicting the game's start in Tokyo where rebel soldiers have eliminated innocent people, and another showing a rooftop battle against swarms of flying beasts. The In the Classroom section highlights the game's tutorial and practice modes, where players can hone their skills with rolling, strafing, and jumping. It also mentions a fun mini-game involving shooting an apple off someone's head, a classic test of precision. The page also features the game's sassy squad, Sakia Mamiya, the main character who leads the team, Achi the tough 13-year-old leader, and Aaron Joe, the oldest at 15, a rescue team leader and tech whiz. It sounds like a bit of a wild ride, with some undeniably cool character designs, all set against a backdrop that promises some serious shooting action. This page breaks down the controls and gameplay elements of Sin and Punishment, showcasing its intense shooting action and unique mechanics. We get a good look at the Nintendo 64 controller's adaptations for the game, highlighting the A button for switching between free roaming and lock-on sights, and the A button for aerial dodges. The Z trigger is obviously for blasting away, and the text even mentions the satisfying way enemies react. The 3D stick controls your view, with an option to reverse its movement, which is always a welcome touch for personal preference. The What You See section then dives into the on-screen information, your score, which racks up points from defeating enemies, and time, emphasizing the race against the clock. Life indicates your health, with pods available to replenish it, and the warning that running out means game over. Your character is always viewed from a locked, behind-the-head perspective, giving a great vantage point for the mayhem. Lastly, enemy health is shown during boss battles, which you reduce to 0 to claim victory. It's all about precision, reflexes, and keeping your eyes on the prize, or rather the gun sight. This page is all about mastering the moves in Sin and Punishment. It highlights how to strafe to get a better shot at enemies, even from their flying ships, and how to sidestep like a pro to dodge incoming fire. When missiles are flying your way, a timely roll can save your skin, and if enemies are attacking low, a double jump will let their bullets fly harmlessly past. It's a breakdown of how to survive the onslaught, and frankly, it makes the game sound like a right proper challenge, which we like to see. This page is a massive giveaway, and frankly it's making me want to ditch my job and start dialing. You can win a PlayStation 2, a home cinema system, a PS1, a laptop, a PC, a mobile phone, a robo-dog, whatever that is, a digital camcorder, and even some wrestling goodies. Plus, there are chances to snag Nintendo 64 and Game Boy games, and a whole load of Pokemon merchandise. It's an instant win extravaganza, so get those phone lines ready, people. This page dives into the alien blasting action of Sin and Punishment, focusing on two key aspects: Army of Beasts and Bat It Back. The Army of Beasts section highlights the sheer number of enemies you'll face, with points awarded for each kill and an extra life for every 100. The screenshots show intense shootouts with various alien-like creatures. The Bat It Back strategy reveals a cool combat maneuver where you can use your gun to smash incoming missiles, turning them back on their attackers, much like a lightsaber. The page also introduces some of the formidable ruffian bosses, detailing their unique attack patterns and how to defeat them. We get a look at the Crawfish Seamer, the Kachun, and Radan, each promising a tough but rewarding challenge. It sounds like a real test of reflexes and strategy. This page is a Nintendo 64 poster, featuring 3 striking characters, possibly from a futuristic or sci-fi game. The artwork is dynamic and stylized, with the characters brandishing weapons and standing against a backdrop that hints at a mechanical or creature-like entity. It's a classic piece of promotional art that would have looked fantastic on any gamer's wall. This page showcases the thrilling action of Big Game, Sin and Punishment on the Nintendo 64. We're diving into the mechanics of picking up power-ups, with details on life pods, points, target bonuses, and dangerous pods. The review highlights the game's fast-paced, adrenaline-fueled gameplay, which sounds like a real blast. The latter half of the page immerses us in a sizzling sequence, describing an epic battle against a massive rebel fleet. It paints a picture of dogfights over the ocean and intense combat scenarios, promising a truly spectacular experience. It's clear this game is aiming for some serious high-octane action, and looks like it's going to deliver. This page delves into the cooperative gameplay of Sin and Punishment, dubbing it 2 on the Go. It explains how one player controls the character, while the other manages the gun sight and gunfire. The reviewer notes that this mode is a welcome addition, making the game a more enjoyable experience without too many arguments. The page also highlights the Rumble Pack's impact, promising that the game's explosions and gunfire will make your controller go wild, adding to the immersive experience. We're treated to some screenshots of the game in action, showcasing the frenetic combat. The page concludes with a mention of the stylish character design and a strong endorsement for the game, eagerly anticipating its release. This page is all about Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue for the Nintendo 64, and it's a real blast from the past. The review section gives us the lowdown on the game, complete with a handy scoring guide that tells you if a game is real rubbish or an amazing game you must play. Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue seems to fall into the latter category, earning an awesome award and a score over 90% for being a must-play title. It's described as a game where you'll be fighting against massive metal monsters, and of course, the evil Diabolico. We get to see some screenshots of the action, showing the Rangers in their vehicles, and the gameplay sounds like a frantic mix of fighting on foot and in mechs. The review also mentions that you can unlock awesome 2-player battles, and that the enemy will blast you from all sides, so you'll need to keep moving and shooting. It's all about saving the world, naturally. This page features the Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue on Nintendo 64, showcasing the blue, green, and red Rangers in a dynamic pose. The accompanying text highlights that each Ranger has unique skills. It's a fantastic visual representation of the game, promising an action-packed experience. This page dives into Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue for the Nintendo 64, with the crazy comic book look section praising its action-packed comic book style presentation and simple animations. It notes that the game looks great, even better than the TV show, and allows players to view comic book sequences from the title screen, to follow the story and get closer to the finale. The Get Your Trainers On section discusses the gameplay, mentioning that you'll be driving a massive fire engine and racing on foot through various locations like parks and spooky caves, with a radar to help you. The reviewer does lament that the graphics are fuzzy and lack detail, but concedes that the lovely cutscenes make up for it. It's a solid review, giving a good overview of what to expect from this Power Rangers title. This page reviews Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue for the Nintendo 64, highlighting its energetic sounds, including explosions and a surprisingly good guitar riff, though it warns the music could get repetitive. The game offers both single-player and two-player modes. In single-player, players blast enemies and collect power-ups. The multiplayer mode allows for robot battles, which are described as wicked fun. The reviewer touches on gameplay mechanics like shooting forwards and backwards, and the importance of power-ups, even mentioning a three-way fire attack. Boss battles are a significant feature, with the reviewer noting that while some bosses are easy, like Vector, others present a real challenge. The game receives a game score of 82%, with the reviewer concluding that it captures the fun of the TV show, and is a good time for fans. This page is a review for Tigger's Honey Hunt on the Nintendo 64, and it's a bouncy good time. The game promises a wonderful experience with Tigger, described as a super cute platformer designed for younger N64 gamers, dripping with charm and cuteness. We're treated to screenshots showing Tigger's smooth moves, like jumping and ducking, and how he can learn new abilities by completing minigame challenges. It seems you'll be collecting honey pots, as Pooh is throwing a party, and Tigger needs to help with the preparations, which sounds like a grand old time. You'll also encounter Christopher Robin's pals, and need to help them out. The review highlights the fun of air currents for floating, and the challenge of navigating icy lakes and rivers on the backs of turtles. Even the cobwebs are useful, acting as trampolines. And watch out for those elephants. They're helpful, but don't get squished. It sounds like a fantastic adventure for fans of the 100-Acre Wood. This page is a review for Tigger's Honey Hunt on the Nintendo 64, and it seems this game really does deliver on its promise of a charming adventure. We're shown how Tigger is never a pushover, facing off against pesky bats and cunning weasels, though thankfully they can be dealt with by jumping on them or running away and stomping. The game also throws in some mental minigames to break up the platforming, with the Rabbit Says minigame being a Simon Says clone. It's not all about the main adventure, as you can also choose to play various minigames from the game options screen. The review highlights the game's presentation as top-notch, with the minigames being a nice addition. It even includes a bit of scissor, paper, stone against owl, though it sounds a bit slow and frustrating. Overall, the graphics are described as stunning, with characters looking like they've jumped straight out of the storybooks. The gang's all here, with Pooh, Piglet, and Owl all making appearances, offering hints or getting into their own predicaments. Christopher Robin also makes an appearance, looking just as he does in the books and cartoons. It's a game that clearly caters to fans of Winnie the Pooh, offering a delightful and nostalgic experience. This page offers a glowing review of Tigger's Honey Hunt for the Nintendo 64, praising its authentic Pooh sounds and music, though the reviewer admits Tigger's bouncing can get on your nerves. The Pooh Snap section details the collection of Piglet's photos scattered throughout the levels, adding to the game's longevity. The Storybook Land section highlights the stunning 3D graphics and smooth scrolling, comparing it favorably to Tarzan, and emphasizing the beautifully hand-drawn backgrounds. It also mentions some charming details, like Tigger drawings on cave walls. The Worlds Apart section describes the various themed levels, including a blustery woods and wintry forests, and the abundance of secret areas and hidden honey pots. The review concludes that Tigger's Honey Hunt is a delightful game for younger players and platforming fans alike, giving it a score of 81%, though it notes it's a tad too short. This page is a full-page advert for King Cat Entertainment's mail-order services, featuring various Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color games, plus ringtones and graphics for Nokia phones. The next page is a cracking full-page advert for the Pokémon Master Guide, the ultimate guide to beating Pokémon. It promises an exclusive look at Pokémon 2000, Gold and Silver, and even the best Pokémon toys and trading cards. It's a real must-have for any self-respecting trainer. This page is a fantastic full-page advert for the Awesome Collection, a compilation of Nintendo's greatest hits. It proudly declares that the games have been completely tested by experts, and are all games you must have. The striking design features the iconic Nintendo logo and the word awesome emblazoned on a keyring-like graphic, hinting at a treasure trove of gaming brilliance. This page dives into some absolute classics on the Nintendo 64. We start with Banjo-Kazooie, a breathtaking adventure that's still a joy to play today, and Donkey Kong 64, a massive platformer that really showcases the console's power. Then there's Beetle Adventure Racing, a seriously fun racer with brilliant tracks, and Diddy Kong Racing, which rewrote the kart racing rulebook with its introduction of planes and hovercrafts. We also get a look at Donald Duck Quack Attack, a high-pressure platformer that captures the magic of Disney, and ECW Hardcore Revolution, for those who enjoy a bit of wrestling mayhem. And to top it all off, there's a rundown of essential controllers, the official Nintendo N64 controller, praised for its enduring quality, and the Logic 360T4 controller, a cool-looking and comfortable alternative. It's a real trip down memory lane for any N64 fan. This page is a stellar showcase of some must-have Nintendo 64 titles. We kick off with Excitebike 64, a fantastic motorbike racer that delivers on fun and speed with its stunt and cross-country tracks. Next up is F-Zero X, a hyper-fast futuristic racer where you'll be blasting around zero-gravity tracks, and GoldenEye 007, still considered one of the greatest first-person shooters of all time, especially with its legendary multiplayer. We also get to grips with F1 Racing Championship, a realistic F1 sim, and F1 World Grand Prix 2, both offering thrilling circuit racing. FIFA 99 is here to satisfy your football cravings, and ISS 98 promises more footy fun. Rounding things off are some controller options, the Manta Ray and HyperPad Plus, and the rather transparent G64 controller. It's a proper retro gaming feast. This page is a fantastic roundup of some brilliant N64 titles, kicking off with International Track and Field, which is apparently the perfect way to settle disputes with mates, especially if you're good at button mashing. Then we've got Jet Force Gemini, described as a massive action adventure with loads of shooting and exploring, and Lilac Wars, a space shooter that sounds like it's got some serious firepower. Next up is Mario Tennis, a quirky tennis game that sounds like it's got enough depth to keep you coming back for more, and Mario Kart 64, a classic that's still a gem for a bit of friendly competition. The review for Mario Golf suggests it's the most playable golf sim ever, with secret courses and characters to discover, so get ready to hit the greens. Finally, we have Mario Party 2, which sounds like the ultimate party game with its crazy minigames and brilliant boards, and a look at the Rumble Pack and rechargeable Jolt Pack, essential accessories for adding that extra bit of oomph to your gaming sessions. It's a proper N64 lovin' on this page. This page showcases a great selection of Nintendo 64 games and accessories. We start with Mickey's Speedway USA, a kart racer that's apparently fun for 4 players. Then there's Perfect Dark, described as even better than GoldenEye, with its compelling missions and hidden extras. Moving on, we have Mortal Kombat 4, a real fight fest that's a bit rare on the N64 but still a great brawler. Pokémon Stadium is up next, a fantastic way to battle your favorite GB critters in glorious 3D, and it's a definite must-have if you're a Pokémon fan. NFL Quarterback Club 99 is hailed as the finest American footy game on the N64, with plenty of options for gridiron action. Operation Winback, a stealthy shooter with varied missions, sounds intriguing despite some camera issues. Finally, there are some essential accessories. The G64 Tremor and Memory Pack for extra storage, the Shockwave Rumble Pack which brings games to life but is pricey, and the Jolt Pack, a budget-friendly rumble pack that needs batteries. It's a solid page for any N64 enthusiast. This page is all about what the reviewers at Nintendo Official Magazine UK have been playing on their N64. We've got Zelda, Majora's Mask, which is apparently amazing and has them losing sleep. Then there's Twine, which Rich thinks is as good as GoldenEye 007 in single-player, but no one wants to play him in multiplayer because he's too good. Premier Manager 64 gets a solid 90% for its addictive football management, even if it is a bit dated. Rayman 2 gets 91%, with the reviewer struggling to pick a favorite part of this stunning platformer. Resident Evil 2 is a scary classic with a 94% score, praised for its graphics and thrills, and Ridge Racer 64 gets a 92% for its arcade racing action, though multiplayer can get a bit murky. Finally, we're shown some essential N64 accessories, the Nintendo Controller Pack 256K, and the Blaze 3 Meg Memory, both looking like vital bits of kit for saving all your high scores. This page dives into some serious N64 action, kicking off with the legendary Star Wars Rogue Squadron, a game that clearly impressed with its authentic Star Wars feel and action-packed missions. Then we're thrown into the hilariously crude world of South Park, which is apparently great fun with mates, but watch out for that mutant turkey carnage. Next up is South Park Rally, a kart racer that sidesteps the Mario Kart formula with its own unique brand of humor and graphics, offering a genuinely fun multiplayer experience. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is also featured, capturing the speed and excitement of pod racing perfectly, with a fantastic two-player mode. Super Mario 64 still holds its own, lauded for revolutionizing platformers, and still being an absolute blast, especially in 3D. Finally, we get a look at some essential N64 accessories, memory cards from Logic 3 and Spectra Video, plus a Joytech controller pack, all vital for storing your precious game data. This page is a fantastic collection of N64 titles that were clearly the cream of the crop back in the day. We kick off with Super Smash Bros., hailed as the best beat-em-up on the N64 with its fast-paced, fluid gameplay. Then it's on to 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, which is apparently a rocking game with jaw-dropping graphics and great control, making you feel like you're really on the board. Over in the Tarzan section, it's a Disney tie-in that's a great action platformer, and even though keeping ahead of the rampaging elephants is tough, swinging from trees is just so cool. Tony Hawk's Skateboarding gets a mention too, with its original multiplayer and graffiti-spraying antics, though finding it second-hand is the way to go now. Turok Rage Wars is described as a smooth and slick multiplayer experience, with awesome weapons and gross baddies. Turok 2, Seeds of Evil is also featured, a massive game with some of the goriest fragging you'll find. And even though it's a bit dated now, it's still considered a great multiplayer choice. Finally, we have a look at some steering wheels, with the Top Drive Plus offering excellent handling and a sturdy build, and the Formula Race Pro being a good all-rounder with great pedals and secure lap fitting. This page dives into some classic Nintendo 64 titles and accessories. We start with a glowing review of WWF Attitude, praising its jam-packed grappling action and fun multiplayer. Then, WWF No Mercy is highlighted for its incredible likeness to the real thing and superior character roster. Zelda Majora's Mask is next, lauded for its engaging gameplay, and even managing to impress critics who doubted it could live up to Ocarina of Time. Speaking of Ocarina of Time, it's described as a mammoth adventure and the greatest video game ever made, with a particular highlight on a moment involving the Deku Scrub Mask. The page also features some interesting tidbits about Link's family history and Zelda's lineage, and even wonders about the possibility of a GameCube Zelda title. Finally, we get a look at some driving accessories, with the Guillemot Shock 2 and Interact version 3 FX racing wheel being reviewed. The Guillemot Race 64 Compact is also featured, praised for its Formula 1 style paddle shifters and stable clamping. This page features the UK rental chart, showcasing the hottest games to rent, with Majora's Mask topping the charts. There's also a cool voucher, offering £5 off any top 10 64 game, so don't miss out. The rest of the page is dedicated to a worth a look section, highlighting several fantastic N64 titles like South Park Chef's Love Shack, Command & Conquer, Duck Dodgers, Mystical Ninja, ISS 2000, Pokemon Snap Micro Machine 64, NBA Jam 99, Vigilante 8, Supercross 2000, World Driver Champ, Xena Warrior Princess and Yoshi's Story. It sounds like a great month for N64 rentals. This page is a full-page advert for Gran Turismo 3. It features a striking yellow racing car and promotes the game's impressive stats: 150 cars, 15 tracks, and 6 players. The tagline, "Can you handle it?" boldly challenges gamers. This page is a fantastic guide to unlocking secrets and essential items in some classic Nintendo 64 titles. We start with The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, giving you the lowdown on grabbing the adult wallet and the hookshot. Apparently, saving up 200 rupees is the key to that wallet, and the hookshot is a must-have for the Pirate's Fortress. Then, it's on to some speedy action with San Francisco Rush 2049, where you'll find codes for the beginner and intermediate modes. It seems they've got the lowdown on how to get the top times, so you can finally beat that mate who always boasts about their racing skills. Finally, a quick mention of the fairy bow in Majora's Mask for those who've mastered the Clocktown shooting gallery, and the camera for those brave enough to take a cruise with the witch. All in all, a useful page for any gamer looking to get the most out of their N64. This page is packed with essential tips for Pokemon Puzzle League and Mickey's Speedway, USA. For Pokemon Puzzle League, we get the lowdown on unlocking the elusive Mewtwo level, as well as the V-Hard and S-Hard modes with specific button combinations. Then, it's onto the racing action with Mickey's Speedway USA, revealing how to unlock Dewey and Louie, plus extra circuits like Yellowstone and Everglades. There's also a handy controller guide to help navigate the game's icons, and a tip for boosting the speed in Pokémon Puzzle League. It's a goldmine of secrets for these N64 classics. This page is a goldmine of tips for some fantastic Nintendo 64 titles. We kick off with Mario Party 2, where we learn how to make Lady Luck work in our favor by simply pressing L, which is rather amusing though not exactly essential. Then it's on to Mario Tennis, with a tip on how to unlock Shy Guy by winning the Star Cup in singles. Donkey Kong Jr. can also be unlocked by winning the Star Cup in doubles. Next we dive into Pokemon Snap with a fantastic tip for getting a perfect Jigglypuff shot by saving the first one encountered on the cave level and then hitting it with a Pester Ball. Over in Pokemon Stadium you can get Pikachu to talk to you if you place a hand-reared Pikachu from your Pokemon Yellow cart into your team. For Perfect Dark, there's a cryptic clue about a new title screen and a secret level where you play as Mr. Blonde. Finally, Donkey Kong 64 offers a neat trick for full health by jumping into a tag barrel. And for Duck Dodgers, it looks like you can get a good coin haul by letting the computer play for a bit. And there are even tips for unlocking those elusive 100% cartoon atoms. This page is all about mastering Mario Tennis on the Nintendo 64. We get tips on how to serve like a pro, specifically focusing on the top spin and slice serves, with helpful screenshots and button prompts. It looks like pressing A at the peak of the ball's trajectory will give you a topspin serve, and B will get you a slice. The page also features a massive list of game cheats and walkthroughs for over 10,000 games, which is quite the collection. Plus, there's some eye-catching artwork of a rather cool female character, and information on how to access more content via phone. This page is a veritable goldmine for gamers looking to improve their skills. We've got tips for WWF No Mercy, including how to unlock the hidden wrestlers Funaki and Debra. It seems you just need to highlight Taka or Terry, and press key to change their costumes. Simple as that. Then there's a guide for Rainbow Six, showing how to deal with those pesky flashbangs by wearing night vision goggles. And for Majora's Mask, we learn how to become practically invisible by donning the Stone Koro mask. It's brilliant advice from our fellow gamers, proving that we're all in this together, helping each other out. This page is packed with invaluable tips and tricks from fellow gamers to help you conquer your Nintendo 64 challenges. We've got advice for Pokemon Yellow to help you complete your Pokédex, including how to catch that elusive Mew. For The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, there's a neat trick to grab a new bottle by swiping away fairies at the right moment. Super Smash Bros. Players can find out how to unlock the secret character. And Turok 3, Shadows of Oblivion gets a mention for tackling Alpha Fireborn. Plus, we have a hot tip for Ridge Racer 64 on how to make your races more exciting by driving wrong way, and some brilliant strategy for WWF No Mercy to help you win ladder matches. And don't forget to send in your own gaming quandaries for our Can You Help section. We'll ask the Nintendo Nation for the answers. This page is all about conquering the toughest challenges on your N64, with the Your Scores section highlighting top players in various games. We've got the fastest times for Speedway USA, WWF No Mercy, Puzzle League, and Perfect Dark. Plus, you'll find the current leaderboard for International Track and Field, Lego Racers, and Super Smash Bros. It's a real testament to the dedication of Nintendo gamers out there, proving that with enough practice, anyone can reach the top. The next page is all about the Mega Challenge. We see Donkey Kong kicking things off with a stern warning to any cheaters out there. Then, we dive into the results of Rare's Perfect Dark Mega Challenge, where the top 4 entrants were invited to Nom Towers to prove their prowess. There's a bit of banter about how they hope to leave with goodies and play the game of their lives under intense pressure. The page promises to reveal who won the ultimate bragging rights, and to find out, you'll have to turn the page. It's a classic Nintendo setup, building anticipation for the ultimate champions of Perfect Dark. This page details the culmination of the Perfect Dark Mega Challenge, showcasing the 4 finalists: Peter Barrett, Ben Gooch, Patrick King, and Stephen Bowler. We get a glimpse of each contender, complete with their chosen in-game characters, and rather amusing quotes of the day, like Peter's rather feisty, "Who was that trying to kill me? Oh no, not you, you pug." The main event, the Mega Final, describes the tense deathmatch on the temple map, where players battled it out with laser weapons. It seems Stephen Bowler emerged victorious, proving too hot for the competition. The page also highlights the prizes, with Stephen proudly displaying his haul, including a dual-force steering wheel. It's clear these lads took their gaming very, very seriously. This page is all about the Nintendo 64 Perfect Dark Mega Challenge. We get to see the 4 finalists: Stephen, Peter, Ben and Patrick, all ready to battle it out. The article explains how the challenge started with a couple of practice death matches, where Steven and Peter showed they were the ones to beat. Then, it dives into the main event, the mega final, where the top 4 players faced off on the crash site confrontation level. The article also gives us the rules for the challenge, telling us that the closing date for entries was Friday, January 5, 2001, and the grand final would take place on Saturday, January 20, 2001. It seems Steven was crowned the champion, and the page boasts about the prizes won by the contestants, including N64 games and accessories. It's a great look at some serious Nintendo 64 competition from back in the day. This page is a fantastic deep dive into the Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, focusing on the Great Bay Dungeon. It promises to guide players through the challenges, even those who are a bit lost. We see a breakdown of Link's quests, detailing which issues of the magazine cover specific game content, and a quote hyping up the game's thrilling storyline. The guide then provides step-by-step instructions for navigating the Great Bay Dungeon with accompanying screenshots, and even offers tips for tackling the menacing Wart mini-boss. It's clearly a must-read for any Zelda fan, tackling this iconic N64 adventure. This page is a gamer's guide to conquering 2 tricky sections of The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. First up is the Gecko mini-boss, with a breakdown of how to defeat this rather odd creature using your new ice arrows, and it seems our hero Link is getting quite the workout. Then we're off to tackle the underwater boss, Gyorg. The guide explains how to reverse the water flow to access the boss room, and then offers a rather alarming tip about a fish swarm that can chip away at your health. It's all about timing, and a bit of bravery apparently. The page also touches on how important Link's new ice arrow ability is, suggesting it's quite vital for progress in the game. All in all, a solid set of tips for those struggling with these dungeons. This page is a handy guide to tackling some of the more obscure quests in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. We've got a breakdown of how to snag that elusive chairman mask, which apparently involves a bit of late-night skullduggery at the milk bar and some musical persuasion with the Zora. Then it's time to get your collection game on with a guide to finding 30 golden skulltulas, a task that'll get you a bigger wallet, and presumably, a lot more rupees. The tips involve plenty of dashing around Great Bay, some creative use of your hookshot, and even a bit of pot smashing with the Goron mask. Looks like a weekend well spent if you ask me. This page is a fantastic guide to obtaining 2 rather unusual masks in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. First we delve into acquiring the Captain's Mask, which involves a rather spooky encounter with a ghostly captain in a graveyard and a bit of a musical interlude with some mini-skeletons. Following that, we embark on the quest for the Garrow Mask, a challenging race against the clock, and a mysterious figure who seems to enjoy a good chase. It's all about skillful riding and quick reflexes here, with the promise of a cool reward for your efforts. The page then moves on to a segment about a storm brewing, detailing how Link needs to raid a tomb and defeat an iron knuckle to earn the Song of Storms, which sounds like a rather damp but rewarding task. Finally, there's a bit about helping a girl and her father, which seems to involve a bit of musical magic and a rather startling encounter with a man in bandages to get the Mask of Life. It looks like a busy time for Link. This page offers a comprehensive walkthrough for 2 of Majora's Mask's more peculiar quests, the Dried Well of Ikana and the Cafe and Anju side story. In the Ikana Well, Link needs to bring milk, Deku Nuts and bombs to a series of Gibdos to progress. The guide breaks down the exact order and items required, making it a straightforward path to the Mirror Shield. It also mentions dealing with big Poes and navigating spike traps, which sounds like a rather harrowing experience for our hero. The Cafe and Anju quest, which is clearly a fan favorite and a rather involved one, is detailed over 2 days. Day 1 involves Link playing Cupid, delivering masks and ensuring Anju and Cafe can meet. Day 2 focuses on delivering mail and picking up a special pendant, culminating in Link earning the couple's mask. It sounds like a real test of timing and patience, but the rewards, including the completion of the game's ending sequence, are well worth it. Overall, it's a brilliant guide to some of the game's most memorable and rewarding side quests. This page gives a fantastic walkthrough for Day 3 of The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, focusing on 2 rather important side quests. We're guided through obtaining the Mask of the Couple and delving into the Ikana Canyon, specifically the dungeon. First, for Day 3's errands, the guide breaks down how to get the Mask of the Couple. It details warping to specific times and locations, interacting with characters like Madame Aroma and the Postman, and even getting Cafe's mask. It seems you'll need to be quite efficient, as the guide mentions you might have to restart if you miss a step. Then, we're shown how to get the all-night mask, which involves a bit of a late-night trip to the Stockpot Inn. The second half of the page tackles the Icana Canyon dungeon. It explains how to use the mirror shield to reflect light, melt frozen eyes with fire arrows, and fight mini-bosses. It sounds like a good challenge, especially with the mention of sculptures, and a final mini-boss that's apparently a walkover. It's a solid guide for navigating some of the trickier parts of this beloved N64 classic. This page is a treasure trove of tips for Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. We've got the lowdown on tackling the rather annoying Floormaster mini-boss, who apparently splits into smaller versions. The trick here is using your trusty mirror shield to reflect light, just like in the good old days. Then, we're off to scale Rockville Cliff. It seems our hero Link needs to get a bit handy with his hookshot to navigate this vertical challenge, creating clones of himself using the Elegy of Emptiness to trigger switches. It's a bit of a puzzle, but nothing Link can't handle, especially with the help of some rolling rocks to avoid. Finally, we get a guide on how to beat King Igoro of Icana, a boss that can be a real pain if you don't know the trick. Apparently, you need to use the mirror shield to reflect his own attacks back at him. It sounds like a proper test of skill and timing. Excellent tips for any masked hero out there. This page delves into the Stone Tower dungeon and some rather quirky Goron races in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. For the dungeon itself, it offers step-by-step guidance, suggesting you equip the Stone Koro mask and use arrows to hit switches, bomb walls, and even deal with some pesky statues. It seems Link will be doing a lot of transforming and light reflecting, as usual, to progress. The Goron Races section seems to be all about a particular challenge involving a ghost. You're told to lure the ghost, jump out of the way, and that it reappears above. Apparently, the key to defeating the next mini-boss, Igol, is to get it to attack and then shoot its eye. Then, there's a rather confusing bit about reactivating blocks and shooting a red ruby on the wall. It all sounds a bit mad, but that's Majora's Mask for you. This page provides a walkthrough for the final boss of the Stone Tower dungeon in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, Gomez, and the Twin Mold boss. For Gomez, it advises using the rabbit hood and a light arrow to disperse bats before attacking him with your sword. It also mentions watching out for his scythe and using a magic vial. The Twin Mold section explains how to use the giant mask for the final confrontation with Skull Kid. It guides players to the top of the clock tower at midnight and how to interact with the children there, which will transport them to different parts of the moon to collect masks. This page also offers tips on defeating Igol by reflecting its laser and hitting its eye, as well as advice on navigating the Stone Tower dungeon, including using the mirror shield and hookshot. This page offers essential tips for conquering the mini-dungeons of Odolwa/Gort and Gyorg/Twin Mold in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It guides you through each stage, detailing how to use specific masks and abilities to progress, and even hints at the legendary Fierce Deity mask. The page culminates with advice on the final confrontation, Judgment Day, reassuring players that the Fierce Deity mask, once obtained, makes the battle significantly easier. There's also a fun "It's a Secret" section encouraging players to submit their own tips. It's a solid guide for any adventurer tackling Termina. This page is a fantastic guide to WWF No Mercy, breaking down the core gameplay with a section called In the Beginning to get you started. Then it ramps up the intensity with super moves, showing you how to unleash devastating finishing moves using your attitude meter. But it doesn't stop there. Dirty Tactics reveals some sneaky, perhaps even mischievous, ways to secure victory. The page is packed with screenshots of actual gameplay, showing wrestlers in the heat of battle, and even includes a quote praising the game's amazing gameplay. It's clear this guide is designed to turn any novice into a wrestling champion, and frankly, it makes us want to jump straight back into the ring. This page is a brilliant guide to mastering WWF No Mercy, focusing on easy specials and defensive maneuvers. It explains how to perform quick, damaging moves and finish opponents, even when they're down. You'll also learn essential defensive tactics like avoiding attacks and countering, crucial for staying in the game. The Flashy Maneuvers section showcases some impressive moves to show off to your mates, like aerial attacks and corner attacks. It's a comprehensive guide to becoming a true wrestling powerhouse. This page delves into two exciting new modes in WWF No Mercy: Ladder Match and Survival Mode. The Ladder Match section, presented as a step-by-step guide with accompanying screenshots, explains the objective of collecting the ladder and retrieving the prize at the top. It offers tips on how to effectively use the ladder as a weapon, how to deal with opponents, and the best strategies for climbing and securing the win. The survival mode section highlights the challenge of facing 100 other wrestlers, a great way to earn cash for new characters. It illustrates the frantic nature of this mode, advising players to position themselves strategically and wait for openings to strike, especially when multiple opponents are involved. It also offers advice on how to effectively eliminate rivals by performing heavy strikes on groggy opponents. Finally, the page introduces the guest referee mode, a hilarious addition where you can interfere in matches and influence the outcome, a perfect mode for playing with friends. This page is a fantastic guide to creating your own wrestling superstars in WWF No Mercy, and it really shows off the game's depth. We get to see how to recreate iconic figures like Elvis Presley, Sagat from Street Fighter, a nice crossover nod, Posh Spice, David Beckham, and even Hulk Hogan. The detail in the character creation menus is impressive, showing options for face, body, attire, and even weapons. It's clear the developers wanted to give players ultimate freedom to craft their dream roster. For any wrestling fan who's ever fancied stepping into the ring with their idols or even their mates, this is the ultimate tool, a truly brilliant showcase of the game's customization capabilities. This page delves into some of the top wrestlers in WWF No Mercy, giving you the lowdown on their strengths and signature moves. We kick off with The Rock, hailed as a WWF champion with a brilliant diving heavy strike and submission holds. Then it's on to Triple H, the leader of DX, known for his powerful attacking style and the devastating pedigree finisher. X-Pac is next, a technical wrestler with a nasty flying lariat. Kane, the brother of The Undertaker, is featured for his brute strength and submission prowess, particularly the Tombstone Piledriver. Finally, we have Mankind, who, despite a recent stint as WWF Commissioner, is ready to rumble with his headbutt and mandible claw. Road Dogg Jesse James also gets a mention for his tag team skills and a groovy dropkick. It's a solid rundown for anyone wanting to master the game's roster. This page dives into the tough female wrestlers of WWF No Mercy, showcasing China and Ivory, before moving on to the formidable male roster with The Undertaker, Viscera, Bradshaw, and Farouk. It highlights their key moves and finishers, offering tips on how to best utilize their unique skills. China's speed and agility are praised, while Ivory's dropkick and backrake are noted. The men's section describes The Undertaker's signature walk, Viscera's scary appearance and power, Bradshaw's submission holds like the Achilles lock and tiger suplex, and Farouk's knockout punches. It's a great guide for mastering these powerhouse characters. This page features the ever-popular Club Mario section, where readers get to air their opinions. We kick off with, "So what did you think of our 100th issue special?" And the responses cover everything from the merits of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask to whether Nintendo needs to cater to a more adult audience. Dave and Rich, our esteemed hosts, are on hand to offer their witty banter and opinions on the reader submissions. There's also a Mario's Winner segment featuring Keith from Cardiff, who's championing Mario, Zelda, Banjo, and Joanna Dark for the GameCube, while hilariously dismissing Duke Nukem and Pokémon. It's a classic dose of reader interaction and opinionated commentary that always hits the mark. Club Mario showcases diverse reader opinions on Nintendo games. Keith praises GameCube titles and Miyamoto, dismissing other franchises, while Philip enjoys visuals potentially linked to The Matrix, and Rich loves a game featuring a Japanese-style hat. Game or Lame features Andrew McGraw's Zelda Battle of Time, a beat-em-up pitting Zelda villains against each other with unlockable characters. Readers also debate games like WWF No Mercy, Stuart Marshall calls it rubbish, Ocarina of Time versus Majora's Mask, Gary Witter seeks resolution, and the prevalence of cartoon characters in games, Calvin Garrett. Paul predicts Animal Forest will be Game of the Year in Mario's hit list. Overall, the section highlights the enthusiastic and varied perspectives within the Nintendo community. This page features a Your Email section, where readers share their thoughts on various Nintendo titles. We see opinions on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Lylat Wars, and a reader's observation about ripples in the water in a Nintendo all-time top 10. There's also a discussion about Mario being the ultimate hero, and a reader questioning the focus on Japanese games over American ones, with a mention of Perfect Dark. The Mario's Winner section highlights reader suggestions for a Nintendo website, including new sections for quizzes and sales. Donkey Kong is praised as the coolest character, with a debate on whether DK64 is the best game ever. We also see mentions of Majora's Mask, with one reader calling it a must for RPG fans, and another comparing it to Ocarina of Time. WWF No Mercy is discussed, and there's speculation about Nintendo releasing a Final Fantasy game for GameCube. Finally, a few email rules section provides guidelines for readers submitting their emails, emphasizing short messages and clear questions. It also playfully suggests looking at page 3 for details on how to get a speedier response. This page is all about reader feedback, with a section called Mario's Hotline, featuring all sorts of opinions. We've got some strong feelings about Mickey Speedway, USA not being as good as Mario Kart 64, and a reader giving Ridge Racer 64 a massive 96%. There's also a debate about whether N64 should have a decent cricket game, which I find quite amusing. Then there's the lookalike section, where they've spotted that our editor Dave looks remarkably like Wayne Hemingway, the style guru, and even a presenter on The Big Breakfast. Blimey Dave, you're a busy man. It seems a 14-year-old Ben Crook from Birmingham made the connection, and they're wondering if they were separated at birth. The Mario's Winner segment this month is a bit of a surprise. It's all about Pokemon games on mobile phones. One reader thinks it's a great idea, even suggesting it could beat Snake hands down. Elsewhere, we see comments about GameCube games, Majora's Mask being the game of the year, a bold statement, and a bit of friendly banter about Mewtwo freezing someone. All in all, a great read from the fans. This page is all about you, the reader, having your say. It's time to vote for the Nintendo Top 10. And they're giving us a chance to pick our favorites across the board. We're talking SNES, Super NES, and N64 games, of course, but also Nintendo heroes, villains, magical moments, multiplayer games, and anything else that's cool and Nintendo related. They want our opinions for a future issue, so grab a pen, fill out the form, and let your vote count. There's even a prize for matching the final top 10, so make sure your handwriting is clear and easy to read, no smudged guesses here. This page is a full-page advert featuring Mario in a 3D metallic environment, celebrating something with large 100 numerals. It's a rather striking visual, even if it is just an advertisement. This page is all about Blagfest. It seems like Nintendo Official Magazine is giving readers a chance to win some cool sizzling scooters from Olop Leisure. The question of the day is a bit of a fun trivia challenge. Which of the listed personalities, Jeremy Beadle, Jeremy McGrath, or Jerry Halliwell, starred in their own Supercross racer? Honestly, given the era, my money's on one of the Jeremys, but Jerry would be a wild card. The page also features some rather groovy-looking blue scooters and protective gear, which is a nice touch for safety-conscious readers, or just those who like to look the part. This page is a fantastic mix of competitions and gaming previews. We've got a chance to win some step stools and a South Park fridge guard, which sounds like a real tragedy if you miss out. Then there's the Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue competition, asking a very important question about who is the boss in the game. Flipping over, we're treated to a glimpse of some WWF photocard competitions, asking who The Rock's real name is. It looks like they've got some truly bone-crunching prizes up for grabs there. And to top it all off, we get to learn how to win these goodies by postcard, of course, the old school way. It's a proper retro gamer's dream with all these classic franchises. This page is all about the Pokemon Center, featuring an interview with the brains behind Pokemon the Movie 2000, Gail Tilden and Norman Grossfelt. There are also reports from the Pokemon Tour in Dublin and Belfast, and a preview of the movie itself, with a focus on Lugia. The eye candy warning section highlights the stunning visuals of the film, including the legendary birds in action. It's a great read for any Pokemon fan, offering a deep dive into the movie and the franchise's presence in the UK. This page is packed with Pokemon goodness. We've got an interview with Gail Tilden and Norman Grossfelt, the masterminds behind the English version of Pokemon the Movie 2000, discussing everything from the movie's translation challenges to the future of Pokemon. There's also a look at whether Nintendo plans to bring a 3D RPG Pokemon adventure to the GameCube, and a discussion about the chances of Ash and Misty becoming an item. Plus, we get to hear about their favorite Pokemon. You might be surprised. Scattered amongst the text are some fantastic screenshots, including a rather cool-looking Meowth rocking out on a guitar, and a glimpse of Ash and Misty sharing a tender moment. It's a real treat for any Pokemon enthusiast. This page is all about the Pokemon Tour 2001, focusing on the Dublin leg of the event. We see the wheels on the bus go, as the tour heads to the Emerald Isle, where they found some seriously talented trainers. The text describes the National Basketball Arena event, highlighting a particularly memorable battle where a trainer named Rich, along with his Mewtwo's Blizzard, apparently froze out the competition. There's also a section dedicated to the Dublin losers, detailing those who didn't quite make the cut. We get to see photos of participants in action, with captions that offer a glimpse into their performances. The winners are also celebrated, including Joseph Lennon, who apparently sang "Let It Be." It's a great snapshot of the competitive Pokémon scene in Dublin back in the day. This page details the Come On Down tour dates for Pokémon, featuring venues and addresses across the UK. We're warned that you can't use gold or silver Pokémon on the tour, a bit of a bummer if they were your favourites. It then moves on to the Belfast winners, showing off some happy faces with their prizes, and the Belfast losers, who apparently didn't quite make the grade, with one chap named Sean Carlin being a repeat offender from a previous tour. It's all about the Pokémon battles, and the glory of winning. This page is all about Pokémon Stadium Gold and Silver for the Nintendo 64. We're treated to a fantastic look at the game, with plenty of information to get you excited. It highlights the fact that you can transfer your Gold and Silver Pokémon from the Game Boy to the N64 for some serious 3D battling action. Apparently, this sequel offers even more, including new minigames and a My Room feature, where you can win special items and decorate your virtual bedroom. The screenshot shows a battle between Sizer and Feraligatry, looking absolutely stunning and giving us a glimpse of the awesome graphics. This is definitely shaping up to be a must-have title for any Pokémon fan. This page features a rather striking illustration of Miltank, presumably from Pokémon Stadium Gold and Silver. Below it, we get a snippet about Feraligatry, with the text mentioning its claws being painted with scary eyes to intimidate opponents. There's also a tiny screenshot of what looks like a battle in progress, showing off Feraligatry. The news masthead and Nintendo 64 logo at the top suggest this is from a Nintendo magazine, and the 87 at the bottom indicates it's page 87. Overall, it's a visually appealing page, giving us a taste of the Pokémon action on the N64. This page dives into the upcoming Pokémon Stadium Gold and Silver, showcasing some of the new monsters and minigames. We get a glimpse of Mantine ready for battle and Sentret, looking rather cautious. The minigames are highlighted as a key feature, offering a break from the main stadium action. One minigame involves controlling Donphans on a track and avoiding Diglets, while another, with Hitmontops, seems to be a competitive spinning on heads type of affair. The review concludes that the sequel looks even better than the original Pokémon Stadium, and we're apparently eager to see these new critters in action. And yes, Iggybuff, please stop bouncing. This page is a full-page advert for Pokémon Pinball. It features a large image of Pikachu and a Pokéball, along with the tagline, "The new way to catch 'em all." It also shows off other Pokémon titles, like Pokémon Snap, Pokémon Stadium, and the Pokémon trading card game. This page features a vibrant preview of Rugrats in Paris for the Nintendo 64, showcasing the beloved characters in a Parisian adventure. It highlights the game's objective of collecting red tickets to trade for goodies and participate in various minigames like golf and bumper cars. The review expresses enthusiasm for the super cute graphics and fun puzzles, anticipating a great time for fans of the cartoon. The game promises a mad fun-fair experience with tons of sideshows. This page dives into Scooby-Doo, classic creep capers for the Nintendo 64, proclaiming it the ultimate Saturday morning cartoon experience. It introduces us to the gang, including the new character Kimi from Rugrats in Paris, who apparently lives in, and I quote, Euro Reptiland. Sounds like a hoot. The gameplay involves controlling Shaggy with Scooby by your side, navigating mysteries and, of course, scarfing down Scooby snacks to regain courage. Watch out though, because if the gang gets too scared, their courage meter plummets. The reviewer notes that while the game might be a tad easy and the camera angles can be a bit fiddly, they're hopeful for a monster hit if those issues are ironed out. It seems like a solid adventure for fans of the iconic duo. This page is all about Mario Party 3, the latest in the incredibly popular party game series for the N64. We're told it's going to be loads of fun with hilarious minigames, and features Nintendo's heroes and villains, which sounds brilliant. Apparently Mario Party 3 builds on the previous games with tons of new extras, including 70 brand new minigames, all with animated backgrounds to keep things lively. They've even added a dual map mode for team play, which is a great idea for 4 players to get stuck into. There are some intriguing screenshots showing the familiar Peach's castle and some of the characters. The reviewer is clearly excited, looking forward to the blistered thumbs and general mayhem this game is bound to bring. Over on the right, there's a brief mention of Aiden Chronicles, an RPG with 13 playable characters, and a massive world to explore, which sounds rather impressive too. This page is a full-page advert for Pokémon Snap, showcasing iconic Pokémon like Pikachu and Bulbasaur. It's a vibrant celebration of the N64 game, encouraging players to gotta snap 'em all. This page is all about Star Wars, Episode I, Battle for Naboo for the Nintendo 64. The game promises to capture the thrill of the Star Wars universe, letting you pilot iconic vehicles like the N1 Starfighter and the STAP. It sounds like a proper dogfighter, with battles ranging from ground assaults to aerial dogfights, and you'll even get to skim the water on Naboo. The reviewer is certainly excited, comparing it favorably to Rogue Squadron, and hoping it has that same Star Wars magic. It sounds like it will be a challenging but rewarding experience for any Star Wars fan. This page is a Pokémon bonanza, focusing on the upcoming Pokémon Crystal for Game Boy Color. It's a special edition of Gold and Silver, promising new features like the mobile adapter to transfer Pokémon and download data, plus a new villain and better battle animations. We also get a peek at the opening moments featuring Pichu and Wooper, and a battle screenshot with some Japanese text. The reviewer is clearly impressed, calling it a great idea, and mind-blowing for its additions and trading possibilities. In other news, we get a tantalizing glimpse of Konami's Game Boy Advance launch titles, specifically a creepy adventure called Silent Hill that will use the mobile adapter for new levels via a Nintendo server. Plus, everyone's favorite archaeologist, Indiana Jones, is coming to Game Boy Color with Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine, featuring 4 weapons and 19 levels. And for those wanting to make some noise, there's a Game Boy Color music mixer coming soon, allowing you to mix top ditties with pre-recorded instruments and voices. Finally, we have a look at Aliens Thanatos Encounter for the Game Boy Color, a sci-fi quest where you'll be blasting aliens and fighting creatures like facehuggers. The screenshots show some rather chunky alien ships and a rather menacing Mickey Mouse in a race car, hinting at a rare racing title. This page is all about what's coming next, and let me tell you, it's looking mighty fine. We've got next month, screaming at us in big red letters, promising the biggest and best with Nintendo's official magazine. They're hyping up 6 promises we always keep, which includes getting all the Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color news and games first, loads of new games, tips that are easy to understand, and cheats that actually work. Plus, you can trust what their writers say, and never need to buy any other magazines. The main event this issue seems to be Mario Party 3, which they're teasing with you'll see, bullet points mentioning new stars, every minigame and ace boards. We also have updates on Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine for Game Boy Color, promising more whip-cracking shots, and Aiding Chronicles, a wicked N64 RPG action title. On the review front, we've got Scooby-Doo, where you can join Shaggy and the crew, and Rugrats in Paris, with the cheeky tagline, "The Nappy Gang are back." It's all topped off, with a very cool image of Mario in his cowboy gear, ready for action. This page is a vibrant celebration of Pokémon Stadium Gold and Silver, featuring a grinning Pikachu front and center, as if to say, you're gonna see Gold and Silver critters in action, wicked 3D battles, ace minigames, and amazing graphics. It's a clear promise of the thrilling Pokémon experience awaiting players on the N64. We also get a glimpse of the Game Boy Color's potential with a shot of the handheld itself, promoting the magazine's dedicated coverage for your portable pal. To top it off, there are some handy tips sections, highlighting Majora's Mask and WWF No Mercy. It's a fantastic spread for any Pokémon fan, really capturing the excitement of the era. This page is a quiz extravaganza, testing your Nintendo knowledge across 3 rounds. In general knowledge, you'll be quizzed on everything from Hanafuda cards to the evolution of Pokémon. The Name the Game round presents screenshots for you to identify, with some cheeky commentary on their gameplay. Finally, Anagram Antics will have you unscrambling Pokémon names, with Machamp giving us a flex of encouragement. It's a proper brain teaser for any self-respecting Nintendo aficionado. This page is a massive advertisement for special reserve discount stores, touting over 4,000 discounted games, computer supplies, peripherals, PCS, and more. They're offering free gifts with purchases, and have a massive list of N64 games with prices, alongside details for multiple store locations across the UK, including Basildon, Bristol, Chelmsford, Malmedy and Nottingham. Honestly, it's a gamer's paradise advertised right here. This page is a full-page advertisement for Magic the Gathering, a trading card game. The advert features a fearsome creature and proclaims, "You don't train our creatures, you unleash them." It highlights the game's depth, with thousands of cards, and the need for fast wits. It also promotes starter decks, and provides a support line and website.